I wake to a gentle tremor. Richard, my owner, is drumming his fingers anxiously against the wallet. I am his credit card. Not just a plastic rectangle with a golden chip, but the living diary of his life, his weaknesses, his dreams, and his fears. I was made to spend money, but I've long since realized I am more than just a tool. I am the silent witness to the madness called wealth. This morning smells like vanilla coffee and a faint whiff of anxiety. Richard hasn't slept all night again. I can feel it in the way he fumbles for me among the other cards. They're all different. The debit card, cold and arrogant. The store discount card, always cheerful but a little worn around the edges. But me? I'm the main event. I'm his favorite. He slides me out, and for a moment, I catch a glimpse of the world. The polished marble counter, the barista's tired smile, the glint of sunlight on a luxury watch. Richard orders the most expensive coffee on the menu, not because he wants it, but because he can. The barista's hands tremble as she swipes me. I feel the electric thrill of approval, the tiny vibration that means another transaction has gone through. Another drop in the ocean of Richard's spending. But let me tell you a secret. Every swipe, every tap, every chip insert, it's like a heartbeat for me. Sometimes it's a rush. Like when Richard bought that private jet in Miami. The numbers on the screen so big I thought I'd short-circuit. Sometimes it's a whisper. Like the time he bought a hot dog for a homeless man outside a gala. The smallest transaction of my life, but the one that made me feel the warmest. I remember my first day, fresh from the envelope, my numbers crisp, my chip gleaming. Richard activated me with a flourish, his fingers warm and confident. I felt special, chosen. I was meant for greatness, for wild adventures and impossible purchases. And oh, the places I've been. Paris, Tokyo, Dubai, even a tiny island in the Caribbean where Richard tried to buy happiness for a weekend and ended up sunburned and alone. You might think being a billionaire's credit card is all glitz and glamour, but let me tell you, it's not all first-class flights and caviar. There are moments of pure panic, like the time I was almost left behind in a cab in Las Vegas, or when a suspicious transaction in Monaco got me frozen for 3 agonizing hours. I've seen the inside of more safes than most people see in a lifetime, and I've spent nights pressed against receipts for things I can't even pronounce. Sometimes I envy the other cards. The debit card gets used for groceries, for gas, for things that matter. The discount card brings a little joy with every swipe. A free coffee here, a birthday treat there. Me? I'm the one Richard turns to when he wants to feel alive, when he wants to remind himself that money is no object. But I can feel the emptiness in those moments, the way his hand lingers just a second too long, the sigh he lets out when the purchase is done. There are days when I'm the hero, when Richard donates millions to a children's hospital, or funds a scholarship for kids who remind him of himself. Those are the days I feel proud, like I'm part of something bigger. But there are also days when I'm just a weapon, used to buy silence, to erase mistakes, to fill a void that money can't touch. And then there are the unexpected twists. The time Richard's son, Ethan, snuck me out of the wallet and tried to buy a $1,000 skateboard online. The frantic calls, the angry voices, the lesson learned. Or the night Richard, drunk and lonely, tried to buy a painting just because it matched the color of his ex-wife's eyes. I felt the pain in his grip, the desperation in his swipe. I've been dropped, scratched, even chewed on by a teething puppy during a particularly wild party. I've been worshipped and ignored, celebrated and cursed. But through it all, I've kept my secrets. I know where the money really goes, into fleeting moments of joy, into desperate attempts to matter, into the endless search for something real. And now, as Richard stands at the counter, hesitating before his next purchase, I wonder, will this be the moment that changes everything? Will he finally find what he's looking for, Or will I just be another swipe in a long line of empty transactions? I don't know. I can only wait and hope and remember, because in the end I am just a credit card. But oh, what a life I've lived. Richard's hand hovers over me, his thumb tracing the embossed numbers as if searching for answers in their cold, metallic ridges. I sense his pulse through the warmth of his skin, a nervous rhythm that tells me this isn't just another morning. He's distracted, his mind somewhere far from the polished counter and the gentle hum of the cafe. I've learned to read him, to feel the difference between a careless splurge and a purchase that means something. He slides me back into the wallet without using me. That's rare. I nestle between the other cards, feeling their silent judgment. The debit card snickers. She loves these moments, when Richard chooses restraint. But I know better. This isn't about saving money. It's about something deeper, a restlessness that money can't soothe. The day unfolds in a blur of luxury and loneliness. Richard's schedule is a parade of excess. A private driver, a meeting in a glass tower, a lunch that costs more than some people's rent. I'm swiped for a bottle of wine older than Richard himself, for a suit tailored in silence by a man who never makes eye contact. Each transaction is a tiny jolt, a reminder that I exist to make the impossible possible. But then, a twist. Richard's phone buzzes, an urgent message. His face tightens, and suddenly we're in motion, the world outside the tinted windows rushing by in streaks of color. We stop in a part of the city I've never seen, where the buildings are tired and the air smells of rain and old dreams. Richard steps out, clutching me so tightly I can feel the sweat on his palm. He enters a small, cluttered shop. The owner, a woman with kind eyes and tired hands, greets him by name. I'm surprised. Richard is known here. He buys a stack of groceries, pays for a stranger's medicine, slips a wad of bills into a donation jar. Each time, he uses me. Each time I feel lighter, as if the money is buying something more than just things. It's buying hope, dignity, a second chance. For a moment, I feel almost happy. This is what I was made for, isn't it? Not just to feed Richard's appetites, but to make a difference, to turn numbers on a screen into something real. The other cards are silent now, watching as I do what they never could. But happiness is fleeting. That night, back in the penthouse, Richard stares out at the city, a glass of wine untouched in his hand. He pulls me out, studies me in the dim light. "Is this all there is?" he whispers, his voice barely more than a breath. I want to answer, to tell him that money can buy many things, but not the thing he's searching for. Suddenly, the door bursts open. Ethan, Richard's son, storms in, his face flushed with anger. "You think you can fix everything with money?" he shouts. "You think throwing cash at problems makes you a good person?" He grabs me, waves me in Richard's face. This isn't love. This isn't life." For the first time, I feel shame. I've been used to buy forgiveness, to patch over wounds that need more than money to heal. I've been a shield, a weapon, a crutch. And now, in Ethan's trembling hand, I feel the weight of every empty purchase, every missed opportunity. Richard says nothing. He just looks at me, and I see the truth in his eyes. He's lost, adrift in a sea of wealth, searching for something he can't name. I want to help him, to be more than just a card. But I am what I am. Plastic, numbers, a conduit for dreams and disappointments. The night drags on. Ethan leaves, slamming the door behind him. Richard sits in silence, turning me over and over in his hands. I wonder if this is the end, if I'll be cut up, replaced, forgotten. But then, something changes. Richard stands, determination in his step. He grabs his phone, makes a call. "I want to set up a foundation," he says. "I want to do something that matters." The next days are a whirlwind. Lawyers, accountants, Meetings with people who speak in numbers and percentages. But this time, the numbers mean something. Richard uses me to fund scholarships, to build shelters, to support artists and dreamers. Each swipe feels different. Less like a transaction, more like a promise. I am still just a credit card. I can't change the world, but maybe, just maybe, I can help someone else do it. And as Richard's life begins to shift, as he finds purpose in giving instead of taking, I feel a strange sense of peace. My numbers may fade, my chip may wear down, but the impact of what I've helped create will last. One day, Richard receives a new card in the mail. Sleek, shining, full of potential. He holds me for a long moment, a smile on his lips. "Thank you," he whispers. And I know he means it. He tucks me away in a drawer, a relic of a life transformed. I rest in the quiet darkness, content at last. I was never just a piece of plastic. I was a witness, a catalyst, a silent partner in a journey from emptiness to meaning. And as I drift into memory, I wonder, if you had the power to spend without limits, what would you buy? And would it be enough? Time passes quietly in the darkness of the drawer. I lie among old receipts, a faded photograph, and a silver cufflink missing its pair. Sometimes I hear Richard's voice in the distance, laughter, the clink of glasses, the soft murmur of gratitude from someone whose life he's changed. I am no longer in the center of the action, but I don't mind. I've had my time in the spotlight. Occasionally, the drawer opens. Richard's hand, older now, more careful, brushes against me. He lingers for a moment, as if remembering all the places we've been, all the things we've done together. I feel a quiet pride. I was there for the wildest highs and the darkest lows. I was the bridge between a man and his choices, between wealth and meaning. One day, Ethan visits. He's grown, confident, kind, with a spark in his eyes that reminds me of Richard in his youth. He finds me in the drawer and laughs. "Dad, you still keep this old thing?" Richard smiles. "She's a reminder," he says, "of how easy it is to lose yourself, and how important it is to find your way back." Ethan turns me over in his hands, reading the worn numbers, the faded name. "You know, Dad, it's not about what you spend, it's about what you give." Richard nods, and for a moment, there's a silence filled with understanding. I realize then that my journey is truly complete. I was never just a card, I was a witness to transformation, a silent partner in a story about searching for meaning in a world obsessed with more. My purpose wasn't in the money spent, but in the lives touched, the lessons learned, the love found in unexpected places. As the drawer closes for the last time, I feel a gentle peace settle over me. My story is finished, but its echoes remain. In every act of kindness, every risk taken for something real, every moment when someone chooses to give instead of take. And if you ever wonder where the wildest money really goes, remember, sometimes it's not about the things you buy, but the lives you change along the way. That's the secret I've carried all this time. And now, it's yours.